morning, good morning, good morning. There I is, and there you is. Hello, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living here in beautiful San Clemente. We're so glad you're here with us this morning in the sanctuary, out there in video land, TV land, wherever you are. Please join us in our first sing-along song and sing with the lovely Wooldridges, a song by Jennifer Ruth Russell called Center of Creation. Stand on up and join us. 2, 3, and... Center of creation, I am a seed planted in stillness. I am a center of creation, fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am a tree rooted in fullness. I am a center of creation, fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. I am a center of creation. I am complete, living in wholeness. I am a center of creation, fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God. Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God.
One more time.
Fertile ground for the highest thoughts of God.
One of them will work. Good morning, beautiful center.
Good morning.
I'm Reverend Carla Sharatis. And we thank you for bringing into our atmosphere of worship the gift of your presence here this morning. And if you're here for the very first time, we want you to know that we believe in love. And we believe in the laws that govern it. We believe that when we live by love, and we work with these laws, that we create a better life for ourselves and we create a better world. So thank you. Let's see if this will reach over here.
Oh. It's going dead. Keep using that one.
We're almost here. We're going to start this morning by lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the path, the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as our practitioner this morning, Paula Manis, lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning. And I'd like to invite Paula to give us our opening morning prayer.
Good morning, everyone. I apologize. My wick failed me, and so we'll only have half of our candles lit, but we know what that means. So this morning, I'm going to do the prayer for you, the opening prayer. Knowing that there is only one power, and that power is present everywhere we are at any given moment. And knowing that that power is love, goodness, kindness, and everything that makes our life possible in beautiful ways. So this morning, my prayer for all of you here present and listening, that we are all part of the divine. We have everything within us that is necessary for an extraordinary life. So this morning, my prayer for you, my knowing for you, is that joy will permeate your life and bring about everything wonderful, healing, precious, and perfect. I know for you that joy will permeate your work life, your home life, your fun life, and everywhere you go, this joy will radiate out from you and right back to you with everyone you meet. Joy is very important. The kingdom of God is the kingdom of joy. So we should always remember that this is a very, very powerful gift from God that we can use at any moment. You can lift somebody's life, heal somebody, bring them into a place of perfect love. So know that you have it, use it with great, great care, but also spread it out everywhere. Everywhere you go, just let it flow. Be the kindest, most joyous person in the room everywhere you go. And see what happens this week. I know it will be extraordinary. I know it will lift you to new heights. And so with a very grateful heart, I say to you, you are part of the divine. And you are precious to God and to everyone around you. So with a grateful heart and a loving heart, I move this to divine law, knowing it is already so. Please join me by anchoring it and saying, and so it is. Okay, this morning our affirmation is, and please say it with me, I am happy to be alive, living a joyful life, and so it is. We're doing something a little bit different now. We are reading our global vision. And our global vision, of course, is a world that works for all. So if you don't know it, you feel more comfortable listening, then just go ahead and do that. Where all life is honored as expressions of the divine, where people live according to spiritual truth, where humanity awakens to spiritual magnificence, where humanity rediscovers personal creative power, where we live as one global family, where kinship with all life prospers, where unity and connection is emphasized, where forgiveness is the norm, where spiritual guidance is valued, where communities are meaningfully involved in service to the world, where resources are valued, cared for, and shared, where people have enough food, homes, and a sense of belonging, where there is peace, harmony, and justice for all.
Thank you, Paula, and it is now my great joy to invite the Jewel Tone Choir to come up.
As the Jewel Tones are coming forward, we worked on some cool new pieces this session, and our first one is a song by one of our favorite composers called Pink Zebra. Yeah, that's the person's name. And the song's called Harmony, which I thought, well, that's appropriate for a choir. And our soloists on this one are April Doterive and Michael Garamoni. And yeah, enjoy.
If all my friends got together, we'd show the world something better. We need each other to make a perfect sound.
When I'm singing, I feel so free, like a note in a melody.
Dig the sound when it's you and me, you and me. Mix it up like a recipe, then connect in a common key. Here we go now, 1, 2, 3. We need some harmony. Sing with me, sing with me. That's how we're meant to be, meant to be. Gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now.
I'm tuning out all the noises. This time we're making the choices. It's up to us now to find our way.
Hey, we need to help one another. Let's show some love and discover what makes the world go round and round each day.
When I'm singing, I feel so free, like a note in a melody.
Dig the sound when it's you and me, you and me. Mix it up like a recipe, then contend in a common key. Here we go now, 1, 2, 3. We need some harmony, harmony. Sing with me, sing with me. That's how we're meant to be, meant to be. Gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now. I feel there's something we're missing. Can't hear it yet, but I'm listening. It's time to look for some common ground. We need some harmony, harmony. Sing with me, sing with me. That's how we're meant to be, meant to be. Gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now, gotta hear it now. We need some harmony. Come on and sing with me. That's how we're meant to be.
Wow, that was wonderful. Oh my. What's happened here? Let's see, there we go. That was wonderful. Let's give the jewel tones another hand. So, good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Alice Reed, and I'm here to speak to you about emotions again. We've been looking at this idea of living everyday wonder, and this month's theme is emotions, and we've looked at some tough things. We looked at fear last week. We looked at emotions overall, and today we're really looking at happiness. And you can tell that was sort of the theme in the music. Diane, you've done a wonderful job of weaving that in. Thank you. And today's talk is if you're happy and you know it, but I tried to change it and they changed it back. So, the talk that I want to give today is really happiness is the way. And that's the quote that has been going through my head all week. It's a quote by the Buddha that says, there is no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. There's no way to happiness. Happiness is the way. And so this week, as we're looking at this idea of happiness and emotions, sometimes I think it's easy to get a little confused. And I think we come by it honestly. If you look at the advertising and the social norms that we're dealing with, and there's this idea that I'll be happy when, right? And you know what I'm talking about. I'll be happy when I'm in that relationship, when I get that new job, when I get that better home or that better something else. We seem to attach happiness to some kind of attainment. But the truth is that happiness is a way of being. It's a way of walking through life. And we don't need to put all these obstacles in front of it or these barriers that we create for ourselves. No, we can begin to look at happiness as simply a way and a state of being. What I know is that, especially being a prayer practitioner, oftentimes I'll be working with somebody and they'll be starting to tell me what they really want. And they'll be placing that out there as something that's, they have to work towards or that they have no clue of having. And what I know as a practitioner is that we are always just removing obstacles to our wholeness and our perfection. That we're always just revealing that's something that already lives within us, that has already been given to us just by the birthright of being divine beings having a human experience. And so instead of moving through life trying to think about what we can get, I find that it's great to sort of turn that around, and it's what can I give? What can I give to life? What can I give to this situation? How can I be present for it? Because I know that as we work with these laws, we talked about it, the Reverend Carla in the beginning talked about the laws that we're working with. We're working with this law of correspondence and circulation. And whatever we put out comes back to us, pressed down and shaken together and multiplied. You might have heard that before. Somebody sent me this really great quote. I mentioned Dr. David Hawkins last week, and it's a quote about love, but I'm going to replace the word love with happy and happiness. So happiness is a quality of divinity, and as such illuminates the essence and therefore the lovability of others. The relinquishing of judgmentalism greatly increases the capacity of happiness, as does surrendering and wanting of anything from others. Thus, people are not perceiving according to what they have or do, but by appreciation for what they are and what they have become. And so this idea of the judgments that we place in front of life, in front of people, in front of situations, that then begins to temper and to create our value and the values that we're looking at. David Hawkins goes on to say that identified as the ego, we stand in judgment always. Judgment of others as well as judgment of ourselves. And this is why it's called the relative world, because everything is seen in relation to something else. And when we are identified as our relative world self, by definition, we are comparing constantly. We are comparing constantly. I don't know about you, but I certainly know that I am taught to compare. We're brought up to compare. If you think about those Sesame Street little characters, everything looks, not every, I've forgotten the tune, but I bet you could sing it. But one of these things, not like the other, one of these things just doesn't belong, so we're trying to, thank you, Wade. And so we're always taught to compare, to compare out, to compare in what belongs, what doesn't belong. But we teach a philosophy, new word, philosophy of oneness. We teach a philosophy of oneness. We teach a theology of oneness. We teach this idea that there really is only one power in the universe and that it creates out of itself and is always pouring itself into the reality, the relative world, into ourselves. We are the ones that express God. God cannot have an experience in the world unless it has an experience through you. I'm going to say that again. God could not have an experience in the world unless it has an experience through you. And so as we look at this idea of our judgments and our values, we begin to understand that we are the ones that are defining our reality. We are the ones that are scripting our lives. Now, it may not seem like it if you have that experience, whatever it might be, of loss or not getting something or disappointment in some way. But oftentimes, what I find is that when I do run into a hiccup in life, something where I thought I was going in one direction and suddenly I'm turned into another direction, something I thought I was going to have that job, but I got another job, I was in that relationship, but it ended. When I have those experiences, what I can tell you is there's always a new opportunity for me to create. There's always a new opportunity for me to have a different experience. And I'm reminded of this story. You may have heard it, but it's really fitting as we look at this idea of happiness being the way and how our judgments place value on things. It's a Taoist story, and as it goes, there was a farmer, and he got a new horse. And his neighbors came over and celebrated. Congratulations, look at this, your good luck, you've manifested a new horse. And the next day, the horse got out and ran away. And the neighbors came by and said, oh my God, look at your luck. What terrible luck you have. You just got this new horse and it ran away. And the farmer looked at him and said, I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's bad. 2 days later, the horse came back leading a whole pack of wild ponies into the corral. And the neighbors again came over to celebrate his good fortune. And the farmer again, I don't know if it's good. I don't know if it's bad. The farmer had a son, and the son helped to train the horses, and one of the horses got a little rambunctious and threw the son off his back, and the son broke his leg terribly. And of course, the neighbors came by again like little cackling chickens. Oh my goodness, the luck that you have. This is so horrible. How are you going to manage all those horses? And the farmer again said, you can say it with me, I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's bad. The following week, the emperor sent a decree out to the nation that all able-bodied men were to go to war. And again, the farmer said, I don't know if it's good, and I don't know if it's bad. And the moral of that little tale really is that we are the ones who place the value on what happens to us. We are the ones who begin to get judgmental or make up our minds about things or drop into a place of I'll call it awfulizing or gloating sometimes and celebrating. We're the ones that have that experience, and yet our wise farmer knew to just be neutral with the situation, to be present with what was going on in that moment and not to be projecting about whether it was good or bad. And so when I think about this thing we call life and the things that happen, I don't know about you, but I have reached an age in my life where I am really convinced everything changes. Everything changes eventually. And so there's a wonderful axiom that you can adopt if you're willing, and that is that it's important to have high involvement in life, and that means setting intentions and saying affirmations and really deciding on a direction that you want to move in, but then have low attachment to what comes forth. Because the divine, that pure potentiality that we're always working with, could have something even better in mind for you. And so if we can be highly involved in our life and our world and yet have low attachments, and I don't mean low expectations. I mean a willingness to move with the flow of life, move with the flow of the divine through your life, and begin to really recognize that this thing called life, this creative process that is forever pouring itself into life, is very fluid and moves and shifts with all the different experiences that we have, and we are the ones who begin to attach value to it and to hold the value that you have, but not, the value isn't in the thing, the value is in you, right? So if you stay true to your values, no matter what you experience, you can find an expression of those values in your life. In this month's Science of Mind magazine, which you can find in the bookstore, you're welcome, Francie. Dr. Edward Valjoen, who was here just last week, wrote a wonderful essay, Something New Wants to Emerge. And in it, he talks about this idea that newness can be messy. Because we typically, in order to move into something new, we typically have to let go of what was. And he gives a great example of if you're remodeling some part of your home, you have to be prepared to tear some things down in order to build some things up. There is messiness when we're moving into newness. And sometimes that newness can be both exciting and terrifying because we don't know, right? And we want to know, right? Don't you want to know? I always want to know. We want to know that it's all going to work out. We want to know that it's for the highest and the best. But transitions are just that. They're transitions. Where somebody said to me the other day, that's hell in the hallways, right? It was actually my friend Dina here, that we're always transitioning from one place to another, but it can be hell in the hallways. It can be hell in the hallways, right? And while we're moving from one place to another. And so our job is to stay curious. If I'm going to lay my judgments on things right away, well, depending upon those judgments, I could be really excited or I could be really dreading what's going to happen. But if I can look past my judgments, hold on to a little discernment, that's important. But be curious. Inquire. And we're talking about emotions this month, right? So we want to be able to know that our emotions are like an internal GPS system. They're there to help guide you, to raise your awareness, to pay attention to something. I'm feeling terrified. Okay, what do I need to look at? What is it? What am I believing? What am I thinking? What have I invested my attention in? So our emotional well-being can absolutely help guide us in the right direction in anything that we're experiencing. And the more conscious we are, the more aware we are of our thoughts and our ideas, we can begin to even question those. Why do I believe that every time something big change happens in my life, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop? Why do I have a sense of dread? Why do I have this sense of excitement? Pay attention to what those feelings are and see what it is that wants to be known by you, because I'm here to remind you, and I try to remind you every Sunday, I'm here to remind you that you are not living this thing called life in isolation. Not only are you living your life with community members and friends and relatives that are on the path with you, but you are living life with Source. That Source is wanting to create this life by means of you, so you are never truly alone. There's a wonderful saying about, and it's a Rumi quote about the ocean, and it's that you are not all of God, but God, I'm mixing up my metaphors this morning. That all of the ocean can be found in a drop, right? That all of the ocean can be found in a drop. And so all of God can be found in you, but you are not all that there is for God. And God is forever pouring itself into us to experience itself. I think I said that once before, but I think it's important for you to remember that. And I talk about this quite a bit. It's important for us to be authentic. Martha Beck, who's a well-known author and coach, has written a book called The Way of Integrity. And in The Way of Integrity, she begins to talk about integrity, not as this moral high ground, but the integrity like the pureness of a compound within itself. So if you look at steel, the purer the steel is, the stronger it is, the more integrity it has. And so Martha Beck talks in her book about getting clearer on who we are, getting clearer on our own integrity of the pureness of our being and who we have come to be. Now, there's a bunch of people in this room, and we're all going to have a little bit of a different spin on life. And when we're in our authentic selves, when we're really true to our values, when we recognize that true self, then we allow it to come forward, well, then we are walking in the way of integrity. Martha Beck has, her book is great. She takes the Dante's Inferno story, and she weaves in exercises about how to walk through the mess and how it's okay to be a little lost at first and how you can begin to find yourself, how you can begin to peel away the layers that maybe were laid on you by your teachers or your parents or your culture and begin to come back to that place of integrity. I'm here to remind you once again that you are God in form, that God is experiencing itself by means of you, and that when you are in integrity with that idea, you are one with the one, and yet you are a perfect expression of your divine wholeness, as only you can express it. I cannot express the world like Reverend Carla, and she cannot express the world and into the world like I do. We're different, but when we are in alignment with that highest and best, when we are in alignment with that creative process that moves through us, well, then we're in integrity. And then we are in our authenticity. Edward goes on in his essay to talk about establishing a routine of examining your emotions and asking yourself, why has this come up for me? To ask yourself, where is it that I need to shift gears? Where is it that I need to move towards? What is it that I need to let go of? Where am I living in integrity with my values? I read this great quote by Richard Rohr this morning, and I thought it fit really perfectly in this idea that there's no way to happiness, and happiness is the way, and that we're always working with Source, and Source is always expressing by means of us. And the idea of how we can place all these obstacles in happiness out there instead of coming within and looking for happiness. The idea here, folks, is to remember that it's an inside job, that it comes from within you, and that we don't have to have it all figured out. And so Richard Rohr has this to say, and I'll end with this. The mystery is not that which is not understandable. The mystery is that which is endlessly understandable. I'm going to read it again. The mystery is not that which is not understandable. The mystery is that which is endlessly understandable. It is endlessly discoverable by you. But you have to be open to it. You have to inquire. You have to be curious. And I guarantee you, if you're curious, that internal GPS of your emotions will guide you in the right and perfect direction. Thank you very much. So let's pray, shall we? So I invite you to settle in your seats and lower your gaze or close your eyes, and to go within. To know that there is a power and a presence that is completely embodied by you, but it is not the all of you. There's so much more to you than just your body temple, to just your experiences, your feelings. This whole wide world is available to you. And so I know as we move through this week, as we begin to look at this idea that there is no way to happiness, and yet happiness is the way, that we do that beautiful job of looking within, of being curious, of being open, so that we can be that wide open space of creation in the world, so that we can be part of this beautiful vision of a world that works for everyone, allowing ourselves to tap into our own individual integrity, which of course is the integrity of the one, expressing as each one in such a delicious and diverse way. And so this week I ask you to trust that the divine is at work. Trust that anything that is falling away for your greater good. That there is something else that wants to express by means of you. And that if you're open to it, you are always supported in your change, in your transition, in whatever it is you're moving from and to. The truth is you are just revealing more and more of God as you. And it is with this highest knowing that I anchor this prayer in great joy, knowing that happiness is indeed the way, and that we walk it with an open and surrendered heart. And if you agree with me, I ask you to anchor this prayer in that same joy and happiness by saying together, and so it is. Thank you. And let's now bring up our marvelous choir, the Jewel Tones.
Thank you so much, Reverend Alice. This next piece is called There Is a Season, and it's based on the text, for everything there is a season, which I think ties in so beautifully with what Reverend Alice was just saying. There's a season for everything, for happy, for discovery, for curiosity, and it's our mission, if we choose to take it, to allow that to happen. Our soloist on this is Wade Wooldridge, and then Rita will join him halfway through. We okay, Rita? Wade, can you help that cord get a little more free? Maybe not. That's it. Okay. No worries. It's okay. Rita, pull it in a little bit so when you come in, you don't have to, yeah. No jumping rope on this one. All right, there is a season.
To everything a season comes, a time to lift the truth in song. Oh, may we sing God's purpose clear, so love will be our anthem here. To everything there is a season, for every purpose there is a plan. To everything there is a reason in a time for work, a time for rest,
A time for planting, a time for harvest,
a time for blessings, a time to pray, a time to heal. To everything there is a season, for every purpose there is a plan. To everything there is a reason in heaven.
a time to tear down, a time to build up,
A time for tears, a time for laughter, a time to mourn, a time to dance. To everything a season comes, a time to lift the truth in song. Oh, may we sing God's purpose clear, so love will be our anthem here. A time to give, to take, for silence To everything there is a season. For every purpose there is a plan. To everything there is a reason. In heaven, on earth, in
The jewel tones are going to stay there because they're going to do something for offertory.
And it's now time for our offertory. I'd like to invite our ushers to come up. Do you remember at the beginning of Reverend Alice's talk? She talked about the law of circulation. And when we put the law of circulation in place, what we give out, we receive. And this is our opportunity to give today for what we've received, the beautiful words that were spoken today, the beautiful words that were sung today, and for this time that we get to share together in community. It's time for us to show our hearts as big as we can. We can put it in an envelope. Isn't that crazy? And if you're online today, we invite you to go to our website, cslcv.org, and you can generously give there. Please join me in reading our offertory this morning. My offering is my acceptance of God as the source of my supply and symbolizes my in the abundant flow of this supply.
We have one more treat for you. This song is called Spirit Wind Among Us. And I always like to dedicate this style of music to our dear friend Jean Stone. So Michael is going to be adding some sound effects with the beautiful rain stick over there. And just enjoy, just let it flow over you. Spirit Wind Among Us.
Spirit wind among us, one us with your love. Words of wisdom send us on the wings of a heavenly dove. will grow through eternity. They will grow through eternity. Spirit wind among us.
Just beautiful, beautiful. I'd like to invite one of our practitioners, Jody Tartan, to come up for a little surprise this morning.
Thank you, Carla. So I didn't go grocery shopping for you. Reverend Alice, we had an amazing installation and celebration of you the other night. And it came to me how many ways you show up for this community. And so what I did was I asked everybody to give me 3 words that describe you. Some people gave me 1, so their conviction was strong. And I put together a word cloud for you. So I would like you to come up and receive it. And so this represents Reverend Alice. And so the words that are biggest here are the ones that had the most conviction and were the most popular. So genuine and wise and love, of course. And there's some delicious words like vivacious and swami mommy out here and risk taker. There are so many amazing ways that you show up for this community and really lift us. And it was humbling to me to see how many different words there were and how many ways you show up for us. So anytime you have any doubt of how you're showing up in this community, of who you are, you can just peruse the words on this beautiful love, the I am of Alice, and remind yourself. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. And you'll be able to see this. I'll leave it out for you all to share with you. Thank you so much. I'm really humbled. I think we go back here.
That was fun. We'd like to take this time to thank everybody that's been in service today, in service this week. We'd like to give another round of applause to our choir and music director, Diane King-Van, and the beautiful Jewel Tone Choir. That rain stick was amazing. Was absolutely amazing. And I'd like to have all of our practitioners stand up at this time. All of our practitioners, please. These beautiful souls have been trained in the art and science of prayer. And each week we gift to you a prayer. So today in our service, we have Paula Manis, Cheryl Lineman, and Mary Casa. Can you give them a hand, please? And these beautiful souls will be giving you a gift of prayer this morning. If you would like something to change in your life, if you'd like to get a little bit more juicy, a little bit more creativity, please take a time to just get a little prayer in our 2 back prayer tables today, also in our tranquility room in the back. And that we would love for you to take advantage of that. Right now, I'd like to ask if there's any new visitors today. Anybody that's been here for the very first time today, could you please stand up for us? Oh, we'd like to celebrate you. Thank you. We have a beautiful gift for you this morning, and just like to thank you for coming. Inside your gift bag, you'll find a card, and if you fill that out and bring it to our bookstore, we have a gift for you we'd love to share. And now it's time for our invitations.
Well, hey, Santa.
Oh, ho, 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 Easter Bunny, you old furball. What you been up to?
Just having my post-holiday break time. You're looking excellent. I assume you're just kicking back now as well.
Oh, heck no. I'm still in the middle of the Q2 updates to the naughty and nice list. And I haven't even had time to go to Conscious Connection on Sundays right after the service.
I ran into Punxsutawney Phil the other day. He's been having troubles with his shadow self. So he's been going to that book study over at CSLCV on Wednesday mornings.
What kind of problems could he have? He only works one day a year and just has to poke his head out of a hole.
I think he just needs some company. He never misses a Zoom call for Shifting Sands on Thursdays.
I prefer coming home to Spirit on Friday mornings myself.
Oh, well, speaking of spirits, I ran into the Great Pumpkin last week over at Party City. Can you believe he's already working and his next workday is like 5 months away?
I wish I had his schedule. I never stop. I can't remember the last time I even sat down and read a book.
Well, you could just hop into the CSLCV bookstore anytime. They have all manner of books for sale and a new lending library of jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, like I have time for that. I can barely get to game night on the first Friday of the month. They're doing Mexican Train on June 3rd, and Mrs. Claus won't let me miss that.
Oh, you and your Mexican Train, Santa, you slay me.
Oh. Well, we better get back to it for now. Please stand and join us along with Cupid, the Leprechaun, and the Tooth Fairy in singing the closing song.
Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. So let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. Oh, let there be peace. I am a stand for peace. Let there be love. I am a stand for love. Let there be joy. I am a stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now. We are making a new world now.
So know with me that each and every one of us, as we walk out this week, are making that new world through our love and our peace and our joy. And if you agree with me, say with me, and so it is.